Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia and this is The Feminine Fancy. I decided to take a look and observe some of the women that I consider to be highly feminine, just see what their sort of habits are. What are the habits, the things that they do that make them feminine icons? And one of the women that, like, as I was coming up with this list, had every single thing on it was Princess Diana, the GOAT. She's one of my feminine icons. I just wanted to share some of the things that I came up with, help you embrace and express your femininity more effortlessly. So I hope that you enjoy this list. I want to say a quick thank you to the sponsor for today's video, Luisa. You guys know I've been wearing Luisa jewelry for quite some time and I really love it, but I have to say that these earrings, these hoop earrings that I got recently, are my absolute favorites. I talked about them on Patreon recently and they are just so elegant, so soft, just the perfect hoop. Like I can't emphasize enough how wonderful they are. I'm really excited to be working with Luisa this month and showcasing this beautiful jewelry. Luisa really does elevate my everyday look. It's long-lasting, tarnish-free jewelry at an affordable price with pieces starting at just $39. And the best part is that Luisa jewelry is crafted with the planet in mind, as the brand is carbon neutral and climate neutral certified, offsetting 100% of their carbon footprint, which is just amazing. As I said, I talked about these hoops on Patreon. I will link them down below for you guys if you're also hoop girlies. I wasn't always a hoop girl, but in the last year and a half, I've really been embracing a hoop moment. I really like it. So if you are hoping to elevate your everyday look, classic elegant pieces, I would seriously consider Luisa. I will leave the link to these earrings, the necklace that I'm wearing, and other pieces that I really love in the description box below. And the best part is that when you use my code, TheFeminine20, you can get 20% off of your purchase. So if you're wanting to up your game for fall, your jewelry game for fall, then consider shopping Luisa. You will not regret it. So the first habit of highly feminine women that I observed is that they're very empathetic. They listen to try to understand. They try to put themselves in other people's shoes in order to really feel and experience what someone else might be feeling and experiencing. I think Princess Diana is a fabulous example of this. Like I said, she has every single thing on this list, but I truly think that empathy is number one. It's something that we all could use a little bit more of in our world today. We can be so quick to judge. I mean, just go to the comments in any TikTok video or Instagram reel and people are arguing over dumb stuff. The best way to do this, you should or shouldn't do, and everyone is so busy judging each other's decisions that we're forgetting to have empathy for one another. We're forgetting to just be humans and try to see something from someone else's standpoint, someone else's experience. Highly feminine women really tap into that empathetic side. They tap into that sensitive side. And I actually talked about this in a video on Patreon as well, where I talked about, I will link it down below too, life tips for traditional women. And I talked about how your sensitivity as a traditionally feminine woman is not something that you should be ashamed of. It's not something that you should be embarrassed by. Highly feminine women, they embrace that sensitivity, but they turn it into empathy. They allow their sensitive side and their sensitive nature help them be more empathetic people, to help them understand other people's lived experiences, other people's perspectives. It's really important as feminine women that we don't just get so tunnel vision in our own perspective and our own experience. Not everyone has the same experience. Not everyone has the same upbringing, the same background, the same privileges. One thing that will set us apart as feminine women, as highly feminine women, is our ability to have empathy for people that we have nothing in common with. It's not about being able to be empathetic with people that you've gone through the same exact thing that they've gone through. Like, that is nice and it's helpful. But it showcases a level of emotional maturity when you're able to be empathetic towards someone that you have never experienced anything close to what they've experienced. You're willing to sit with them, be an active listener, someone who listens to understand and not to respond. Leading with compassion and with empathy are surefire ways to be a highly feminine woman. Second habit of highly feminine women is that they utilize graceful communication. When I say graceful, I mean that she is thoughtful, she is considerate in what she says and in how she presents what she has to say. Whether it's through speech or through body language or written words, she chooses elegance and grace when she communicates. It's really easy nowadays, especially with social media to just feel like you can say whatever you want. And if you're behind a wall, if you're behind a screen and no one can see you and you're using your Finsta or you're using, you know, some fake account, it's a lot easier to say mean things, to say nasty things, and to be a nasty person because no one knows who you are. But a highly feminine woman chooses to communicate gracefully. If she has a critique of something, she is kind in the way that she expresses that critique. She's thoughtful, she's considerate, she understands that the way that she communicates, the way that she speaks is going to have an effect on someone, whether it's the person in the Instagram reel that you're watching, whether it's the person that you're talking to, your relationship partner. The way that you communicate, the way that you speak can be a great representation of how you feel on the inside. If you are yelling and screaming and being rude to people or saying mean things online, all that does is show me that you've got some stuff you need to work out. You've got some things that you need to figure out internally. A highly feminine woman embraces graceful communication. It doesn't mean that she doesn't get angry, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have emotions and that she is always communicating perfectly, but it means that more often than not, she's going to try her best to be thoughtful and considerate about the words that she's using and the way that she is communicating with other people. A highly feminine woman also has a nature of nurture. Being a feminine woman, a lot of us are very nurturing naturally. We may not all be called to the role of being a mother, but that doesn't mean that we can't nurture other people in our lives. Showing care and support for loved ones, as well as cultivating relationships. Finding things in your life and in your world that you can care for. I know people make fun of plant moms or cat moms, dog moms, whatever, but a lot of us women have a desire to be nurturing to something. Whether it's a boyfriend, a husband, a dog, or a baby, or a plant. A lot of us just have that, and that's just innately. If you're not in the season of life where you want kids right now, or you don't have a relationship partner, there are so many other ways that you can express that nurturing side of yourself. Yes, you can be nurturing to a garden. And let me tell you something, I have been gardening now for 2 years. The way I feel so attached to my plants, to my flowers, my herbs, all of the things that I grow in my garden, I'm not saying that it's like the love of a mother and a child, but I do feel a very nurturing spirit when I'm taking care of my garden. You can nurture the plants in your home. You can start small. Even nurturing your home, you know, cleaning it, taking care of it, decorating it, like all of those are different ways that you can showcase being a nurturing person, as well as nurturing other people in your community. I have been blessed with 2 nieces this year, 2 new nieces this year. The way I feel about them needs to be studied. I love these little girls so much, these little babies so much. I was just telling my cousin yesterday, like, I would do anything. I would do anything to protect these 2 little babies. Like, I love them so much. When I feel like I just have that urge to nurture something or someone, I am running over to my brother and sister-in-law's house so I can help them take care of their sweet little baby girl. When I'm doing that, not only am I nurturing her, but I'm nurturing them as well. I'm also nurturing my sister-in-law and my brother because I'm giving them an opportunity to relax. So there are ways to nurture your community, nurture your family in the event you yourself don't have a family of your own. Highly feminine women are also incredibly elegant. They display a lot of poise and class in not only their style, but in their mannerisms as well. Now, this one I feel like could be a little like, it's kind of dependent upon your culture, where you're from. As you guys can tell, I talk with my hands a lot. I know a lot of people talk with their hands, a lot of cultures talk with their hands, and I think that's completely fine. I don't think that that's not elegant. I think that, you know, it would be really awkward if I was standing here like this talking to you. That would be incredibly weird. No, I think I've heard people say like, don't talk with your hands too much, and it's like, well, why not? Why not? This is a human body. Of course I'm gonna use my hands to talk. A lot of times highly feminine women will also choose quality over quantity. So instead of having a bunch of clothes that you maybe paid $5 for each top, which, you know, no shade, we've all been there. Maybe you spend a little bit more money on some higher quality clothes that are gonna last you a little bit longer. It's the same thing with jewelry, and why I love Anna Luisa so much is because they have that elegant and timeless look. And I would rather have a few elegant pieces in my collection that are not going to go out of style than to have a bunch of different pieces that I paid next to nothing for, but are poorly made, not going to last me a very long time. I think highly feminine women acknowledge that, and they choose quality over quantity. Highly feminine women also have a high level of emotional intelligence. They are in tune with their own emotions, and they are in tune with the emotions of people around them. They have a sense of self-awareness, and they also have an awareness of maybe how other people around them are feeling. There's something about being in a social setting, being in a social situation, and being able to pick up on certain social cues and certain things that might indicate that someone is feeling uncomfortable, or that someone is feeling sad, or that someone is going through something. It kind of ties in with what we spoke about earlier with empathy. Being tuned into not only your own experience, not only your own emotions, but the emotions and experiences of other people as well. And then once you have that awareness, you're able to handle those emotions with care and with sensitivity. Emotional intelligence is something that I think is incredibly important today, because it's very helpful to be able to pick up on the emotions of your friends, your family. Sometimes people don't always feel very comfortable telling you what's going on, or telling you that they're worried about something or they're going through something. So if you have a high level of emotional intelligence and you have that empathy and that sensitivity, you're able to say, is everything okay? Instead of just having tunnel vision on your own emotions and what you're going through. Now, this isn't always going to work. You're not always going to be able to be in tune with what other people are experiencing just by like sitting next to them. But if you have that high level of emotional intelligence, you're able to pick up on when someone in your life maybe isn't feeling the best, and you're able to ask them how they're doing and create that connection. The sixth habit of highly feminine women who engage in self-care. Oh, the topic of self-care has become a little cringy. I think the topic of self-care has been talked about quite a bit, but just because something has been talked about a lot does not make it any less important. Highly feminine women really acknowledge the need for their own self-care. Yes, it's fun to take bubble baths and to, journal and read by candlelight and all of those things. But there are elements of self-care that are really foundational and fundamental that I think are incredibly important as well. If you have past traumas that you haven't dealt with, self-care is dealing with those traumas. Self-care is working with a professional to give you the tools to become that version of yourself that you want to be. Taking time for your own well-being is really important. We hear a lot that analogy of putting your own mask on before you can put on someone else's. While it is overused, it is still very true. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't think that by running around trying to help everyone and save everyone and do everything and be Wonder Woman, at some point you're not going to run out of battery. You have to keep your own battery charged in order to be that person in your community, be that nurturing aunt who can come over at the drop of a hat if your sister says she needs something. I think the best way to do this is to schedule your self-care. Schedule in sessions with your therapist, schedule your bubble baths, schedule, a walk for yourself, schedule time to connect with yourself in a way that you might otherwise not think about if you're not sitting down to schedule it. Self-care on a grand level and on a smaller level are both very, very important. It might seem silly having a 10-step skincare routine, but let me tell you guys something. When I don't do my 10-step skincare routine, I do feel bad. Like, I don't feel great. It is what it is. Maybe that's just me, and maybe that's a problem, but honestly, and I've said this multiple times, when I am feeling low, when I am feeling down, the first thing that I let go of is my skincare routine. For me, making sure that I'm doing that routine, that I'm doing all of the things that make me feel good, it really does help me to show up better for people in my life, and I think that's what's the most important thing. And finally, the seventh habit of highly feminine women is that they are authentic. I talk about authenticity on this channel a lot in regards to femininity, and I really feel like Princess Diana nailed this one on the head. She was so authentic to herself and to the woman that she was and how she wanted to show up in the world and in her community, both locally and globally. I am a Princess Diana stan, if you couldn't tell. Being able to embrace your individuality and allowing that to be the pathway with which you share your femininity with the world, I think is such a beautiful thing. Just look on YouTube, like there are so many of us making this kind of content, but we all do it a little bit differently. We all share things a little bit differently because at the end of the day, we're being authentic to ourselves, right? A lot of you have asked me to make a full video on femininity and authenticity. I've been taking my time with it. The most important question to ask yourself if you're wanting to show up more authentically in the world is just, who am I and what legacy do I want to leave? That helps me be the most authentic version of myself, because I want to make sure that the legacy that I leave on this earth is one where people will say she was genuinely kind, she was genuinely warm, she was so funny, she was randomly good at ping pong. Like, I want all of those little fun quirks and unique things about me to be what people remember. So if you think about it that way, that's something that helps me feel much more authentic in my femininity. It's just by thinking about what do I want people to say about me when I'm no longer here? What legacy do I want to leave? What do I want people to remember about me? And that helps me to really tap into my own authenticity and showcase my femininity to the world in a way that is very, very true to me. That is it for this video, my loves. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and please leave a comment down below letting me know what some of your highly feminine habits are. I would love to hear about it. Thank you to Anna Luisa for sponsoring this video. Again, you can shop these pieces and other pieces in the collection using my code TheFeminine20. Thank you to my patrons for your support and for also helping to sponsor all of these videos. I love you guys so much. If you want to become a patron and get access to exclusive videos, photos, and blog posts, Zoom workshops, Zoom parties, and so much more, then I will leave the link to my Patreon down below as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can find me on Instagram at _thefemininefancy_ and on my blog at thefemininefancy.com. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!